Hey everyone, it's TB Shores. I'm back. It's still June the 23rd, 2017. In the last video, I was trying to explain how the Lord had led me to understand that the time frame for Gemini had changed, and it had changed from June 21st, excuse me, from the old May 22nd through June 21st to a new time frame of June 21st through July 20th. Now, I'm trying to think here. I pointed out to you different places that we can find this. What I want to show you now is how, let's see, that, how that came to be. I'm sorry, I've got so many things on my mind right now. It's like 1,000 things going through my mind, and I'm not sure which one. Okay, back to this. We're going to look at this. How this happened was that NASA decided to add another constellation. Let me see if any information about that is on this. I'm not seeing it exactly. But NASA had found that there was a constellation that had been left out. Well, this constellation was Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is a serpent bearer. Okay, it's about the snake, about the serpent coming back. We know that in the Garden of Eden, the serpent is the one who convinced Eve to go against what God said. And we know that it's basically Satan, and how he deceives mankind. What we're talking about here is with this 13th constellation, it shifted the time of how time frames fall in the zodiac, and the Lord is using these constellations to show us something. And with there being 13 now, we want to look at the number 13. Trying to figure out where I had that. Okay, right here. The meaning of the number 13. The number 13 is symbolic of rebellion and lawlessness. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, that's pretty clear as to what in the Bible the number 13 means. And you can do homework and see why that it means that. But it only makes sense that this 13th constellation is being brought back in here in these end times, because it is about rebellion and lawlessness, about what is about to come, about, even though we see that already on earth, we are about to see it ramp up to a level that we can't even imagine. But the thing I want to point out is about this number right now, and why bring that 13th constellation in. You know, Satan has a reason for everything that he does. And we see, I'm just giving you another example. The number 13 means rebellion. It's about rebellion and lawlessness, and about the level of rebellion and lawlessness that's about to come upon this earth. And so there is a purpose as to why this has been inserted. You can do some homework on it. You can see the number 13 is associated with the occult, things of mysticism. And this particular website gives a pretty good example of several of them. And it even gives scripture reference. And I'll try to remember to leave these websites in the description box. So here we know a constellation has been added. It shifted the time frame of Gemini from what it had been to a new time frame. And that's what the Lord is just showing me, that it has shifted into a new time frame. And it's about this 13th constellation that has been added in with the zodiac signs. And the number 13, as I'm showing you, is very relevant for these times that we are in. Now, when we look at the word rebellion, here I pulled this up. It's a King James dictionary on the word rebellion. And it speaks so much to the time that we're in and the times that we're fixing to enter into. It speaks about it being, let's just read this. It says, among the Romans, rebellion was originally a revolt or open resistance to their government by nations that had been subdued in war. It was a renewed war, an open and avowed renunciation of the authority of the government to which one owes allegiance, or the taking of arms traitorously to resist the authority or lawful government. So you can see here, and you can read on. I'm not going to continue reading all this. It takes too much time. But I will leave the links as soon as I can get them in there so that you can go back and look up this information and do your own study on it. So this is about understanding how Satan is shifting things, so to speak. NASA brought this constellation back into the zodiac signs. So, there's no mistaking that it holds some symbolism to Satan and those that follow him. But it also gives us understanding as to the times we are in. These are rebellious and lawless times. And of course, that all just goes right in together. But when we look at Ophiuchus and understand that he is the serpent bearer, and it's about bringing back the serpent, we know that's about Satan. So here we have learned that we have a new zodiac sign that represents the bearing of snakes. It's a serpent bearer, bringing back the serpent. It's about rebellious and lawless times, that number 13, adding that back into that. And it gives us, most importantly, what the Lord wanted me to understand was it gives us that time frame that I thought I had misunderstood. Now, when we get back to this time frame, we know that Gemini changed from May 22nd to June 23rd and is now June 21st to July 30th. I want to show you that picture again. And this was taken today before the sun sets. Right now, it is in the constellation of Gemini. And so when we look at that, and it being today, we can clearly see that we have just entered into the constellation Gemini. We are not coming out of it. We're going into it because Cancer's over here. That's the next one. So we are coming into it, not leaving it. And that is important for us to understand if we're going to grasp what the Lord is showing us about this change in the time frame. So when we look at that, I'm going to get rid of that now, and we see that we're now focused on June 21st through July 20th. We go back to Shavuot. And what I want to show you about Shavuot, now we do the counting of the Omer. And the counting of the Omer is basically counting 50 days. And on the 50th day, that would be Shavuot or the Feast of Weeks, whatever you prefer to call it. But one thing that, and I am shocked that I had not seen this before because the Lord's had me to study Leviticus 23. But there again, it goes to us understanding things in the time frame that God brings it out to us. And I think it's important that we do get that he shows us things at specific times, not ahead of time, not after time, but at specific times. Just like with the changing of the time frame of Gemini. So we now know we are in the time frame of Gemini as the sun is actually in Gemini now. Okay? And what I want to point out concerning Shavuot, because the Lord kept pointing me back to Shavuot, is that, and I'm trying to think how I'm going to because I did not pull me up a calendar. Let me see. The fastest calendar I can pull up is on my phone. Okay. So, I'm sorry. Let me pause this for a moment. Well, let me just end this and I'll come back with the Shavuot part. Bye bye.